So, good morning, and thank you all for coming to the Board of Civil Authority hearings. A little housekeeping, there is actually going to be three separate hearings here. First of all, we have an abatement hearing, which is the Board of Abatement, which is different than the Board of Civil Authority. The Board of Abatement deals with the abatement of taxes, and we have for the town, we have two hearings for people who are going to be with that, which is Lanu, and then Betty Cheney, the collector of taxes, got an abatement request for uncollectible. Then the second one listed on your agenda is David Cassidy, property located at 49 4th Street. That property is in the village of Swanton. So therefore, the JPs on the Board of Civil Authority who are residents of the village only may sit on that. And what we're going to have to do is after renew, we're going to have to recess that abatement into the village board of abatement to take care of the Cassini's appeal request. Then we'll adjourn that and then go to reopen the meeting to deal with Ms. Cheney and the collector of taxes. So then after we hear from Betty, then we will close out that meeting and then the appeal of the grievance decision to listers. That is the town property, so all of the JPs can all participate in that. And now the rules as it relates to the Board of Abatement. Members of the Board of Abatement include the members of the Board of Civil Authority, the Justices of the Peace. It includes either the Select Board or the listers. The Select Board or the trustees of the village, in the case of the village. It also includes the treasurer of the town, for the town, and the treasurer for the village, and the listers. So that's what we got everybody all assembled here. So it's then the appeal for the grievances, as I said, will just be the board of civil authority being the justices of the peace. So with that, first thing we've got to do is to ascertain when we get started, based upon any of the knowledge that you've got here, has anybody got any conflict of interest on the abatement issues? I mean, has anybody related to any of those people requesting an abatement? It goes to first cousin, aunts, uncle, grandparents, siblings. Let's see, as so we'll start. We're ready. Any questions? I guess first. Any questions? What we're going to do is take all the testimony in, and then we'll thank the people for attending, and then we will have to render a decision, and then the same with the appeal of the grievance. That will require that we have an inspection committee of at least 3 people to go and view the property. If just kind of jump ahead a bit, if they say, well, they're only appealing just the land and not the house, it makes no difference. You have to inspect that. Any structures that are on that property, it's the whole deal. They can't just pick and choose what they're appealing. So, and we'll explain that more. Yeah. So we're going to be looking for at least 3 volunteers to go out and do an inspection. And we do not have to do an inspection on the abatement. We're going to be faced with the financial in front of us. And render a decision. Typically we'll schedule a meeting for next week. Meet, get the inspection report and there. So we will wait for,
Well, what I think we could do, Brian, if we could open our meeting and seeing Betty's here, we could get her done now. This little notes are, I don't know if they're gonna get here by 6:50.
Any
That's okay with
objection to that?
everybody. That's fine.
okay, so. Then in that situation, we'll call this meeting to order and we'll take up Betty Cheney, collector of Lincoln taxis.
And there's a report in your packet.
But before we start. I have to have Betty take an oath. But please raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the evidence you shall give relative to the cause now in consideration be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, and help you God?
Yes.
Yep. I haven't introduced all the members of the Board of Civil Authority, or do you know everyone? Yeah. Well, for the record, Betty Cheney, collector of Lincoln taxes. And so bring your list and we'll get started. The board behind.
It's third, it's in your, it's gonna be the third. I can go underneath. Follow your packet down.
Oh, there we go.
It's, you can, if you only flip the packet, Brian, you're all of it separate. Hello.
Hi,
Morning.
okay. So. All right, so everybody find the minutes of the abatement for that Betty has provided. No, it's further. That's just.
I'll just send you copies for you.
Okay, so Betty,
Yes,
yes, the floor is yours.
okay. So these travel trailers in communication with Colette, so they either have been removed or a couple of them could have been destroyed. The Quentin one was gone, she said, since 2023. And then the R0 repair, that shouldn't have been on the 2024 taxes. So we need to, so I'm passing it, please feel it.
Okay, this is somewhat of a normal situation with trailers that just kind of roll out.
That they roll out and roll in, and roll out.
Yeah.
Like me and Jello as well.
And, do you have the total amount?
Yep, it's 1,132.77. 1,132.77.
Are there any questions, Ms. Cheney?
This a name? Is this the name of that?
Yes,
So the taxes was properly clear.
gone.
Right.
Mhm.
And if to the best of your knowledge, it's actually left.
Yes,
The confines of the council.
yes. With the information I've gathered from Colette, so let's go back.
Any further questions? Any further? Okay, well, very good, and thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You have a motion?
Move the two good second recommendation for all the abatements there in the state.
I second.
Then moved and seconded, and make a motion that we recommend the abatement of $1,132.77 for the travel trailers that is presented by the tax collector, Betty Cheney. Moved and seconded, is there any further discussion? Okay. Ready for the question? All those in favor of the motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes appear to have it, the ayes do have it, the motion will carry. Okay. Send up. Um, okay, so. This is Lynn.
Yes.
Yes, hi, we'll start in just a couple of minutes. You're scheduled for 10:15, so maybe just a couple of minutes. If you have any handouts, you just like to give out.
No, my computer froze. This morning I got a little email saying that could I bring my tax return and I could not get the computer to it. So I don't have any handouts.
Okay.
But I did mail everything that was requested of me and thought a while ago.
Okay. It's Christina. Sorry. Okay, so we'll be here, for abatement request of abatement of taxes, the request of Matthew and Louise. Luno, 2956 Sweet Hollow Road. First, Ms. Luno, I'd like you to stand and.
All right.
Do you solemnly swear that the evidence that you shall give relative to this cause now under consideration shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay,
Well, what happened is, we have a daughter. He took out a loan with Visa. You know, the Visa, right? And that was, she went to college during COVID years. She started COVID years. So she never finished college. She has had on and off jobs. She moved to Chicago. But Visa came after me as a co-signer and just took my taxes that were supposed to go to you guys and took them. And so I didn't have that to pay to you guys. That's basically what happened. And we have no money. I was in a process again, like I was in a process with Visa to try to figure it out. They were asking me for all my income and the taxes, so I was giving it all of them on email. And then they just stopped emailing me. So, and then I just took the money. And so I figured it was like the easiest way for them, I guess, to get my money was to just take my tax return instead of dealing with setting up payments. So I haven't been able to get a hold of them. I actually mailed them a letter. I mailed the state of Vermont a letter saying, why are they taking this money that's supposed to go to Swanton? Why are they taking the money that's supposed to go to Swanton? and just taking it. And they're like, we can do nothing. Vermont State of Vermont said they can do nothing, I have to deal directly with Visa. I haven't been able to get in touch with them, I was like physically putting on my calendar to drive there because they're not, I wrote them a letter, they're not responding. I wrote them emails, they're not responding, they're just totally ignoring me. So that's my, that's my point why we couldn't pay, and I'm like, I couldn't come up with that kind of money because, again, we were coming out of COVID times and we had no income. Because my husband's was a sub teacher, so he didn't get any support, and I'm a self-employed person, so I had no income. So it was just all like, we just have no money. And these people just took our money that was supposed to go to town and taxes, so all of a sudden we all town smart in taxes because we have no money that was supposed to go from the state, So basically that's my point, and our income is so low. My husband's a teacher, so he makes, teacher salary, but at a private school in Burlington. So he doesn't make, I think you have some tax returns, right, when he's three, so, yeah, so his income didn't increase, it was the same as the year before. But now he's had a job at least for, this is the year number 3, I think. Yeah, it's gonna be year number 3, so after COVID, he did get a full-time teaching job. But again, like our income is just so low that we're barely making ends meet, and I think that's what I told VSAC is like, okay, this is my income, I'm a co-signer on this loan. My daughter is actually in Chicago, she has a full-time job, why don't you go after her, like, why are you going after me, it's not even my loan, Like, they're coming after me as a co-signer, not after my daughter, who's, like, I think they're just taking an easy way out to just get the tax man without trying to set up an account. And I've never even heard of such a thing that they can go after my tax, like, I didn't even know they can do that. And so that is my situation.
Well, being a former lender in the banking business, I can tell you that yes, they can do that because it's a federal law that they can do that. The federal law requires that. Now at when your daughter is going out, exactly, is she over age 18? That's right.
No.
So she was under 7.
Yeah, she was in English, yeah.
Okay, under 18. Okay, full sign, legally liable.
Yeah.
And the discussion. Okay.
So even though she could be making money right now, they could still go after me
Yes,
instead of going after her,
absolutely.
like, why?
Because
It's
started
not
out when she was not an adult.
Oh, but even now that she is an adult, they can't go after her, they go after me instead?
Happened at that time. It's the age at the time she signed. That's the, that's a little explanation of that.
Yeah.
So anyways, back to the case at hand here. So your husband is employed as a school teacher.
Yep.
Okay, and in 2023, it showed the income here in the tax return. 51,082. And now you would have let's see. Have you requested abatement in the prior year?
I think it was a 20, yeah, and the year before, again, it was because of COVID. During COVID years, we got state help. And I was expecting that for that year too, and then all of a sudden they cut it off, and again, we have no money, so. Yeah, that's from the year before this, the other one is because of COVID. Again, we had no money and we were expecting the state to pay, because they did for the year before, for the COVID year, they paid us for our taxes. So we were expecting that for that year, and we just didn't get it, and we had no money to pay. Because of COVID, we had no income.
Okay, do you have a mortgage on your property?
Yep.
You do, okay. Have they been able to assist you with the mortgage holder?
Well, I don't know, what do you mean? Like taking out more mortgage? What do you say?
Yeah.
Oh, my credit is so bad.
Or an escrow?
No, no, because of COVID, when we built that house, we had to take out money to finish building it. Because so we wanted to credit card that. And then we had this company that's consolidates credit card debt, so we got payments to them. And but because of that, my credit went to, like, we can't have a loan, nobody's gonna give us a loan, like we had a home equity loan on Keyback, which we still do, which we pay every month. But I can't even borrow against that, cause that was originally line of credit, supposedly like $40,000, so you could take it out and pay back. But I've been just paying that and they totally stopped, they said you can't take it out. So I think because of that consolidation loan that we had, both of our credits went, even though we pay our bills, but both of our credits went totally to nothing, like we can't take out, like I don't think I can even take a car loan. We don't even have a car right now because we can't freaking afford it, we just have no money. And that's all there is to it, I mean, there's nothing I can say, it's like, I can't borrow money because I don't have any credit.
So. Any questions from the board?
Is there just one income?
There's one income, my husband's working, I am a performer. So I get income here and there, and because of COVID, my income went way down. But now it's starting to come back. So what I do is I dribble, juggle, and spin basketball, so I go to a lot of school assemblies. So I travel to Massachusetts, Connecticut, to bigger schools, and I do shows, so when I go do a show, I make $500. But that only happens like this month, in September, I'm gonna have one show, in October, I'm gonna have 2 shows. And November, I might have a show, I might not, I don't know, I don't have anything scheduled. But it's like random, you know, and it has been bad since COVID. It hasn't been really, I mean, it's picking up now, but because of COVID, I wasn't hired as an entertainer, you know, like I didn't have much income at all, because there was no gatherings, you know, like schools didn't hire me because, I mean, schools didn't have school. You know, and as they're coming back, now that they're coming back and I'm starting to get work again. So, I mean, I have scheduled. Again, like I said, September I have a show, October I'm gonna have 2 shows, so I'm gonna make, in October, I'm gonna make $1,500.
I have a question.
Yeah,
You said you don't have a car,
no,
so how are you getting to these events?
see, I'm gonna have to get another used car, how are we getting a car, and that's another, like, that's. It's horrible, like, I wish there was public transportation around here, but there isn't. I mean, I have to have a car, and then, we had a car. Our daughter, who's 17 going on 18. Crashed 2 of our cars within the last half a year, so we've been dealing with that too, like a teenager, you know. But so we had a car, a used car that we bought for $2,500, she crashed that. And we had another one that we bought for $2,000, she crashed that, so currently we have no car. How I'm getting around is my beautiful mother-in-law who lends us that car, who lives right next door to us, and so that's how I get around for
They
now.
get along with women.
I mean, I'm getting, that's what our daughter's trying to do, like, I mean, like, yeah, she has good credit, I mean, I guess she's offering, so we're trying to, I mean, we're gonna need a car, I mean. And then the good thing is she works right next in Burlington too, where my husband works, so they commute together to go to work. And what I've been doing to go to my last couple gigs, I actually rented a car in Burlington from the airport. For $100 a day. Yeah, the car has been a big issue, we have no car right now, we gotta get a car.
I have
Yeah.
one more question, okay? Have you tried to find another job opportunity?
Yeah, I think it's a sub for BFA.
No, I'm just saying something else, you
Yeah.
know, like, it'll be very difficult, I would think.
Without a
Like,
car, it would be very difficult.
well, I'm not thinking about that right now, I'm just thinking about you having an opportunity to get work. There are so many places that are looking for help. I am wondering, since COVID, have you looked at other opportunities, try to, find a job at,
No,
I'm just throwing it out, TJ Maxx.
No. No, I haven't,
You haven't,
nope.
Is there a particular reason why?
Is there a particular reason why? Yes, I don't have a car.
But you did have a car.
Not really.
You just said your daughter crashed 2 cars.
Yeah, but she uses it, I mean, I never had my car. And I mean, that really has nothing to do with it. It's really not like me looking at TJ Maxx is gonna solve this issue.
I have some personal experience in having, big goals in checking account. And I worked full-time job and then worked a second job after that job. So that we could afford to pay our bills. And it was very, very difficult. I ended up on food stamps and that kind of thing, just many years ago. But it was the thing that I had to do, and resources that were available were for people like me who needed it at the time, because my husband got a job, so. Anyway, we've been there, we know that, but
Like I mentioned, my job is coming back now that I'm after COVID. I'm starting to book gigs, so I am gonna make money. So I don't know why I would have to go to work at TJ Maxx, is my point.
have you asked your daughter to pay this debt?
Well, she currently lives in Chicago and she's barely making ends meet.
I don't know what to say, we're retired, so.
Or,
I mean, it's hard to live in Swanton, Vermont.
What have you had any conversations with the town in regards to, basically, say about keeping the plans and everything?
No, I haven't. I would be willing to if I really have to.
Okay, and in regards to, is there any, like any folks you could potentially borrow money from?
I wish. No, I have no friends, no family with money, nobody.
So I just want to clarify how much is actually owed. Because the tax bill and the amount on the delinquent tax collection notice are very different. So were part of these bills paid or everything except, or are you just asking for interest and?
I am asking
For
for,
what?
I am asking for abatement of the money that VSAP took. Basically, because it doesn't seem fair that like, why are they taking the money? And like, I don't have that money, like, that was supposed to go to you. So,
What were your conversations with BCA like? I know they would probably be amendable to.
my conversations with them lasted a while. I was sending them all the information I sent you, because they were asking for your income, for your tax returns, all over email. I was sending it to them, and then it came to the point where they said, so how much can you pay a month? And I said, what do you need me to pay a month? And that was it, and that's where it ended. They never emailed me back. So, like, I think they just took an easy way. I don't have any idea, like, why did they do that? Like, I asked for all my information, and then they never didn't say anything back and stopped talking to me. And I even, again, I wrote a letter in mail. I said, can we resolve this? And they, no response.
So can I go back to this? I just want to clarify how much you actually owe.
I don't know.
Can I ask Betty? Is it okay if I do that? She's here, or is it?
Is there, I think there's a bill in there.
No, like, really?
There's a balance of 2023 and then the 2024 taxes.
Okay, so it looks like the 2023 has about 477.70 something
Yeah,
left.
there's probably
For the balance?
interest added to that by now,
Okay,
so it would be increased,
but
yes,
so
right.
did the $3,071.02 was paid, and this is interest and fees? What,
I'm
or
not sure where you're getting the $3,000.
from the tax bill for 2023? I'm trying to make numbers work. I need to.
That, well, I know when Mrs. Luno actually paid on her 2023 taxes, she paid the amount of the tax. But the way it's required to be applied, the interest was paid first and then it was portioned between the tax and the penalty. And that leaves the balance that is currently there,
Okay,
okay?
so she did actually pay the $3,000 late.
Yes,
And
yes.
and incurred charges.
Right,
So
exactly.
that's what the $400 is.
Well. Yes and no.
No, I
You
understand how
yeah.
it's, yeah.
It's
I-
the interest and penalties basically is what
Come
was
first.
not paid.
Okay. And then for 2024. Everything was paid except for the pullback or the clawback from BSAC, which was $2,900 or something.
No, what wasn't paid is what's on the tax bill plus the interest and penalty.
So the $7,425.57 plus penalties and interest.
No, I
No.
paid our part, no, hey, I only didn't pay the part that.
That's
they-
right, I'm just trying to understand.
I know, I paid our part, and I just didn't pay the part.
I'm not trying to grill you
State.
either, I'm just trying to understand.
2024.
We got.
Thank you.
Okay.
Because it's whatever the balance less the state payment was, it's what was the.
Okay. There's something to this asking wrong.
Something that. Right, but something.
So,
This was the transactions that I would process, you, if that even seen any money back those businesses.
Okay.
So the balance is the 2011. Right? Right, plus the interest and penalties, that's what's due.
Okay. So it's not $7,000.
No.
It's.
2000,
2011 plus it,
right,
everybody got that, they're gonna open up here, $2,001 plus interest and penalty. Whole period for it.
And then,
No, that was for.
and
this is
additionally, the
2024.
$500 from 2023, that's penalties and interest. Right?
tax, no, it's actually tax, interest and penalties.
That was for 2024.
Yes, the request, what we're gonna do is we're taking your, we're taking the evidence, your presentation, okay, and then, we will reconvene, but we will discuss it, but before we get to that, if we get an absolute up to the date, what is owed,
Sure,
please.
I can do that.
Thank you. So we make motions or whatever, we're dealing with.
So it's correct.
Yeah. Okay, are there any further questions?
I have a question. Yeah. That is, in the event that you do not get an abatement, but you are allowed a period of time to pay a defined amount so as to resolve the balance, is that something you can do, or when?
Well, I have no choice, I mean. I guess you'd have to,
What's gonna happen this year?
that is a very good question, that is a very good question, that's why I was like, I was gonna go and talk to them, but I think this year they're gonna do the same exact thing. I think they're gonna take the money unless, like, I mean, again, I don't know what to do. I really have no idea what to do, except physically, I guess, go there and. Because if they're not answering my calls, they're not answering my, like, I really have no idea what to do. You know, like that, I kind of was coming actually, hoping maybe you could talk to them, I mean, it's money is supposed to go to you guys and they're just taking it, you know, and I can do nothing about it, you know. There's nothing, I mean, really, I don't know what to do about it.
You mentioned your husband is a teacher in the Burlington
Yep.
School District.
He works for, oh my gosh, Christ the King. Christ the King School.
Oh, okay, so not in the Burlington.
Not the public school, no, it's a private school, yeah, so he gets paid a lot less than public schools do, actually. But, yeah, that's what he
I
works.
think it appears that you're handling all of this. I do not know your husband,
Mhm.
but I think that one of the people that re-signed very well.
Mhm.
You and your husband should win, make an appointment.
Okay.
Go in, sit down with them
Mhm.
and work out a payment plan.
Okay, I get, that's what I was putting on my calendar, it's like I gotta go physically go there, but yeah.
Emails are wonderful, but emails and conversation on telephone, you need to have a face-to-face meeting with them. Not that I've dealt with this type of thing exactly like this, but I've dealt with people who have loans and can't pay them back, or don't feel they're overwhelmed. And you get a face-to-face
Okay.
meeting with a counselor there, and then work a plan. They
Okay.
take you 10 years to pay it off, but that's not the
Yeah.
issue.
Right, right.
They will work with you.
Well, that's what I was hoping, again, like I was getting to the point of where they were asking how much you want to pay, and then all of a sudden they just stopped communicating, which is crazy to me, like, why? I don't know.
Oh, there's anything else? Okay, well, we thank you for coming in.
All right.
And we will be in touch with you.
All right, well, thank you for listening.
Okay.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, now. We will. Since we heard from Ms. Cheney about the travel trailers, so now we're going to basically adjourn the town board of debate. And or convene the village board of debate. So this is going to be the justices of the peace, members of the BCA, who are residents of the village. And have here on the docket, David Cassini, 49 4th Street. Here, and you are here, okay? So, yeah, oh, don't run away. You just can't speak.
Oh.
Because we have to. No, no, you can stay in the meeting. Next week. So, Mr. Cassini, first we'll start with, you taking an oath, please, that you swear that the testimony that you're about to give relative to the cause under consideration for the board is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So I do. You do. You may come up to the table and present your case. You're asking for abatement of your village tax and just that portion here. 2024. I've made no payments. Okay, so in.
That's why.
Okay, okay, so the amount due is $1,834.82, and that's as of July 15th. So, Mr.
Yeah, that's
Cassini,
the total. The interest.
no, that's a statement from the tax collector.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's, no, Mr. Cassini, that, no, couldn't find it, but that's. Oh, yes, yeah.
Yeah, with the application for abatement was a brief summary of. What I assume wanted as a, a background of why I am where I am. Has everyone had a chance to read my application? I mean, where, yeah, I'd like to know if anybody knows at least that much.
No, they pretty much they get the application.
Just hit the data. Okay, well, anyway, yeah, I'm not, but there's been a lot of introspect in coming here today and the whole lead up to it. Honestly, I don't understand fully abatement, even though I've had plenty of time to look it up and how even I fit here, or if I do. But I read it, and I saw this as maybe a chance for help. I've put it bluntly, first thing I remember is hitting my head as a kid. And I've been through a lot. I actually wore a dunce hat in school. It was made of like birch. Really light, it wasn't cardboard or something. And somehow I made it to a point where I 59 lost my job after 15 years. And thought I was doing really well. And it's about that. Well, that was, everyone was having a hard time there, and I don't expect. Anyway, everyone was having a hard time. It was about the time my daughter graduated, and a few days later, she moved to Montreal to meet with her brother and her mother. She's from Quebec, and the day after she moved, I was washing a knife and a spoon, and it hit me. It's anxiety, and it hit like an anvil. And through much of the COVID, I could only ease that by driving. I did a lot of miles on it. Anyway, I finally got medicated, and coming back from that is a challenge. I've been working in my field of web design since 1997. But after 15 years with one company, devoting everything to them and making their business better, I had gotten out of where I started when I was an independent businessman with small businesses and keeping up with everything as it comes along. And at when I got on Indeed and these other places, they were looking for qualifications that I don't have. So I ended up, I've been pulling in some jobs, just enough to get by, but I've been, aside from the mental, challenging a lot of physical. I'm currently on just as many acetaminophen and NSAIDs as you can take per day physically, plus the prescribed medicines for pain. And that is something I kind of hate to bring up, because if we don't know somebody personally, someone is going through worse pain, couldn't stand here today, or have situations that are worse than mine. But I've been battling through that, and I ended up, anyway, long story short, 9 years ago, I bought that property off of, was it St. Francis? The St. Francis house. They had a lot next to it, if you know where that is. I bought that lot, and for $40,000, and on a nice 3-bedroom, single wide out in Alberg, and rolled it in. I got it for 16. Anyway, I built that lot up to where it's worth almost $250,000 today. I am in gear. Finally, I've gotten a few more clients this year than I did last year, and both of my primary, like the two of the best customers, have both referred me to their friends, and those are turning into, I'm going to finish the year strong. Next year, it's very good. What I do is consult with businesses, and I will show them how to get more clients in their door. And what's working for me now is I can build what I need to on the website, so that we can both see exactly how many people I send in, and I get paid on those, instead of where I was on a set you know, our weekly rate, or now. We're both happy because I'm getting paid what I'm worth for bringing in, and they can verify that, and, you know, they're not. A lot of businesses today, well, they don't trust, stats and. Anyway, I don't wanna go into a lot of, my business, but that's,
So,
we're running out of breath.
okay, so just,
You need a bunch of water?
No.
so your business kind of hit a low spot. And so you try
Well,
to
yeah.
build it back up.
Yeah, well, I've worked with hundreds of small businesses making websites for them and helping them succeed, but. When I met with a local, retailer. 15, well, it's almost 20 years ago now, and slowly within 4 years, I have become a permanent. Position there.
Okay.
I let all my web hosting go, that was an income, and then, you know, I was on the business track, on their business track.
Right.
And a couple of years ago, they got a new owner. New ideas, I mean, I was killing it there, and I was really floored because I was. You know, we were best in the market, and there was no reason.
So you basically became unemployed.
Yeah, and then now I'm back to calling the old list, I mean.
So you've provided us a copy of your 2024 tax return, I guess, and. You reside at 49 4th Street?
Yes, I live
At
there.
your home. Okay, and then, but I just to clear up a little confusion here, I had looking. Was on the profit and loss form for your business, you've got your business address is 895 Front Road.
That was prior to 9 years ago. I lived at the yellow trailer out by the farmhouse. I rented from Mary Reed's.
So that's not your business address present.
No,
Remember they listed it on your tax return, inside.
yeah, I don't know. She sat in my office when we did that, Kathy, my
Okay,
account.
okay, just.
Yeah, I should get that off of there. It's really not a part of my life. I wanna keep that address.
So on your income tax return on the 1040, you've got listed rental income $1,600.
Yeah, I'm renting a room now, and basically, you know, through these times, that is what has kept the dog fed. You know, I get 800 a month,
Okay, so you have no other income?
just. Well, not last year, no. No, and for, you know, the year and a half before that.
So nothing, no social security benefits,
I
pension.
should be getting my first pension Friday. Thank God.
Now is that gonna be what you're hoping to get Friday? Is that just gonna be like a 1 month check, or is that? Is that?
No, I've been awarded my retirement,
You have been awarded or retired?
awarded, I think is the word I use.
Yeah, awarded the retirement.
Yes,
And so when do you expect that check to be? Come on,
a month,
no, what you're gonna
it's a
get
monthly,
Friday.
it's
Yeah.
a monthly
It is
retirement,
gonna-
comes every month, I hope.
It is gonna be month, but there's no other settlement requirements that you're getting.
No, I turned 62 last month.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You said pensions, I think that was confusing for me,
I said pension,
yes,
Oh.
so did you mean social security?
yes,
Yeah,
Okay. Thank you
oh,
for that
yeah,
clarification.
no pension, so.
Okay, no pension, so just do that, so.
Yeah, no, I had a thing from when the wife worked at town school. And there was the money from that that's actually, you know, I started off with. After. When my troubles started, I lived off that for almost a year. And well, I made it, I mean, we're talking like $10,000 or $12,000. But I used that up.
But you used it up, you're not.
Yeah, it's gone, there's nothing. I have I'm not overloaded with debt, credit cards are manageable, like, I mean, total of 3 cards, I paid like $250 a month, I mean, they're not, none of them are, I mean. This is all, I can stay, I've been fighting. And keeping up with it, and then what all of that is I'm. At the end of this. Want to, of course, take care of my responsibilities, my bills, and so you got one in the mail for this year, and I'm just hoping to not, So I don't want, I'm not. I'm sorry.
No, it just, so you're making roughly $250 a month on a credit card payment?
Yeah,
Okay, then you've got obviously your lights, water,
yes, my swap and utilities,
and so what's that run
about 130. Both,
a month?
yeah,
Insurance on the property?
yes. It's. I can pull it up on my phone.
No, that's all right, we're just gonna say we'll get,
Foremost insurance
right,
companies.
it's probably $50 to $70 a month.
Yeah, I try to do it annually, that's why I don't have.
Yeah, so typically, it's probably around that amount per month, so, okay.
I know Berger and Company, they've been carrying me for a couple of years, their interest is in killing me, I've talked to them, they're like. We're with you, man, because I've been with them since 2003 when I moved into Ozzy Martin's old house.
No, and what are you paying them per month? On the account?
I usually pay per fill, I owe them 800, yeah. And I went to the Abenaki food shelf once that, thank God, they're there, I value them so much, not for myself, but. For the need of people.
And you said you rented a room out?
Yes, I started, yeah,
And how much a month,
$800.
800 a month? Any questions from Diane?
I have a question. Do I have to record?
No,
Sorry?
no, because you're a member.
No, I was asking if any-
No, you're a member of the BCA.
Okay. My question is, if you're gonna get social security, does that affect your income? Like, are you only allowed to make a certain
Yeah,
amount of
I
money?
intend on making every bit of 20 grand a year.
So you
I
can make, so.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
You
you
could
can-
make more than that, that it would.
Anything more than
affect
that, then it pulls out of it.
you. And you factored your rent into that, is that gonna go, is that including your rent?
My rental income, yes,
So you know what you can make on web design plus your rent.
right,
Without affecting your social
yeah,
security.
yeah.
Anything else?
Or-
So,
So it looks like your life is headed in the right direction.
Yeah, recovery now, I've been sober for a couple of years, I started off by telling you about hitting my head, I actually got. Hit by a bike, by a car riding my bike when I was 15 and crashed a car by the time I was 18, I was. Can't, and just recently I realized you can't be kind of stupid and drink and get along, it's just not. Gonna work, you can't, I don't know, I just quit all of a sudden, there was no programs or anything,
So based on that, and the idea that you will be getting social security. Could you sit down with the people at the village and work out a payment plan? Of course, so much a month. It may take a while to do it, and I have no legal authority with that, but I found the people of the village to be very fair. So I guess your answer is yes. You think.
of course, yeah, I'm. Amicable, that's kind of what I was hoping for today, I don't expect any forgiveness.
Or, somebody wants to respond to that, but thank you for sure.
I should be working with Betty Cheney, because she's our village bill taxer. But Very reasonable. Yeah.
That's what I thought. Thank you.
Okay, is there anything else? Okay,
Are you anticipating, I'm sorry,
no, I'm sorry.
would this next bill be in the same situation, an upcoming property tax bill?
Well, that's, yeah, I mean, it's worse. I mean, there's no way I'm gonna pay the new one. You know, unless we, you know,
I guess I'm saying if they're going to go pursue some discussions, that would have to be on the part of your plan, or doesn't have to be part of what we're doing today, but I'm.
you know, the other two.
You're not anticipating being able to pay the current year's, or the upcoming bill either.
Well, you know, that's not beyond my hope, you know, now that I haven't got this retired, I haven't been awarded yet, but you know, if that comes through and that's part of it, and then I've got, you know, a couple of meetings lined up that and it's not little things, they're one is through the hospital and the other one's through the Vermont Health and the ones that do the food stamps. Anyway, they got a lot of problems on their website, and I'm working with one guy, just helping him to identify it so that he can see. Well, anyway, if I can get in either of those, yeah, there's not. I wouldn't have to be.
So if I understand you correctly, you didn't have an ability to pay this previous bill, but since then you have increased your work. And you
Yeah.
are renting out a room, a part of your house that you have, and you're going to be collecting social security. So you have an increase in income over where you were before.
Yeah.
Okay, and you are working.
Just, I wanna say one more thing, you said you utilized the Abernathy's food shop for someone else, not yourself.
It's for myself,
Okay,
yeah,
and you can get a food box once a month here,
yeah,
so
yeah.
utilize it as often as you can, it's a really good resource. And they have many other things besides.
Well, I get 250 a month for groceries too, I'm on food stamps.
Okay,
Um,
well,
Abenaki.
$2.50 a month these days doesn't go.
No, it-
So maybe you can use that. Sorry.
Yeah, yeah, they are,
They're
they are
all-
kind of, I don't know, this is I was gonna say something about being proud.
Okay, there's any other question? Well, thank you very
Thank you all
much
for your time.
We'll be notifying you of our decision. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, so let's see, that completes our statements. So with that, I would. Motion to adjourn. Second, adjourn the vacant hearing. Both down. Sure. Any further discussion? Not all in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Okay, good. Now, we'll let's see, at 11:15, we have the appeal grievance of the decision of the listers. Amy Raymond, and I believe Ms. Raymond, you're here, you mind if we start a bit early?
No, it's fine.
Okay, the listers prepared to start a bit early on that.
Sure.
Okay. All right, so. But I haven't. Just make sure we all set to get started here, okay. So, I'm gonna call this meeting to order of the Board of Civil Authority, this is going to be the appeal grievance decision of the listers. And the two things to just go over quickly. This is a quasi judicial hearing. The BCA acts as judges. And are there any conflicts of interest amongst the board or any ex parte communications that we propose to point out to this meeting? That's good. Okay. Now, the process that we do is when we get started here, we're swear you in, as well as the listeners.
they're getting
Yeah, they're getting their stuff, so they're gonna get sworn in. They're gonna present their case and present your case. The burden of proof is on you. Then at the conclusion of today's hearing, there has to be an inspection team of no less than 3 members of the BCA to make your property and inspect it and report back to the BCA with their findings. The law allows us to reduce the assessment. We could also keep it the same, but we can also raise it if, in the opinion of the recommendation of the inspection committee, that value is set too low. And they can come in and make a recommendation, the board can raise it, and the board does not have authority. So this whole process, we're gonna listen to this process this morning. And then before we leave here, we'll set a date to reconvene, probably in about a week. That in between that time, they'll be out to inspection and then we'll make our decision. So we'll talk.
Right.
Yes.
I just note regarding conflict of interest, I do know that you're looking through the documents here, that my property is one of the comparables that the appellant is using. I don't think that constitutes a conflict, I think it should state for the record. And so if anybody does have a concern about that.
Anybody have a concern with that?
We need one more, Brian. Oh, sorry. Mark.
Now, we've just been handed. Don't forget it. This is going to be Lister's Exhibit A. Lister Exhibit A.
Do I also get a copy of? Yes. You'll be looking at.
I think so.
We have some.
Yeah. So if the listers would please stand and Brandon, if you would stand, we'll all swear everybody in. Do you all solemnly swear that the testimony which you're about to give relative to the cause under consideration before this board is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So
I do.
Okay, so who's speaking on behalf of the list?
I am.
Oh, okay, David Horton, and the
Yeah.
chair of the listers.
Yes. Good morning, everybody. So today, the Board of Listers is going to explain to you this account. The account is all within the paperwork you have in front of you. So we have 4 combined properties. 4 separate properties are combined under one tax bill. And the reason for that is because they are all contiguous. And we are following the state law in combining these properties for one tax bill. So what we have here is a mobile home which sits on a piece of land. In addition, we have a duplex property, which is a rental, and that sits on its own piece of land. In addition to that, we have 2 more parcels of land which are building lots. For assessment purposes, the combined value of these 4 properties is shown on page 4. With a total value of $623,100. When we combine properties under one account, all the land is shown on the first page. So on the first page, down towards the bottom, you will see the land section, which includes a combined total of 23.79 acres. The first page also describes the mobile home, It's a 27 by 70 manufactured home from the year 2004. It has 3 bedrooms and 2 baths. That property sits on the first 2 pieces on the land schedule on page 1. Page 1, under the land schedule, the first 2 pieces go with the mobile home. So there's 2 acres plus 9.3, a total of 11.3 acres for the mobile home. And the value of those pieces show to the right. The first 2 acres is 60,000, with the part over 2 acres at 33,300. When this account was brought to us in grievance, we considered both land values and the mobile home values as we were requested. In doing so, we could not justify any change in the land schedule. However, in comparing mobile homes on the same road, we altered what is known as the quality. The quality changed from average to good down to average. And when we reviewed that, we found that there were 3 other mobile homes on the Highgate Road. They were all assessed at the same time. They were assessed for the 2007 reappraisal. We found that the one in question had a higher quality, meaning average to good. And whereas the other 3 were at average, we agreed to reduce the quality to average. That reduced the combined assessment values by $11,600. If we move on to page 4, we take a look at the next property, which is a duplex building, a 2-unit rental property. It was built in the year 2010. With the 2 units combined, there are 4 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms. It is vinyl sided, has composition shingles on its roof, and has hot water baseboard heat. There are 2 porches, 1 for each unit. So what we're seeing on this page 4 is the physical property itself. The land that goes with this duplex is shown back on page 1. And it is the 3rd item on the land schedule. It is 1.13 acres and carries a value of $51,300. If you want to flip over to page 6, you'll see a picture of the duplex. Well, it's not a picture, it's not a photograph. It's a picture of some numbers here, which shows the physical building and the land combined with a value of $310,600.
That's what the total duplex.
Yes. So if this property was owned by you, That's what your cost sheet would look like all by itself. So next, if we go back to page 1. And continue with the land schedule. The next item we have is a building lot. That building lot is 1.28 acres. And has a value of 47,500. If you'd like to turn to page 7 for a second. You will see that building lot all by itself. And if it was owned by you. That's what your cost sheet would look like. At 47,500. Now, if we go back to the front page again. We look at the 4th property. The 4th property is a parcel of land. It is a building lot. 10.08 acres. That's carrying an assessed value for the tax bill. Of $34,100. And if you'd like to turn to page 8. Page 8, you will see. The value of that property as a standalone parcel. If it was owned by you. You would be taxed at an assessment value of $90,100. Now, you come back to page 1 and you see for assessment taxation, we are only charging $34,100, which is $56,000 less than what it would be if it was owned by you. The reason this happens is as we add pieces of land to our land schedule, there is an economy of scale, which means the more land you have, the less it's worth. So when we set up these 4 parcels on our mass gamma rating system, the 4th parcel is assessed at $34,100. So once again, we have 4 pieces of property. A manufactured home which sits on 11.3 acres. Number 2, we have a duplex building which sits on 1.13 acres. 2 separate building lots, one for 1.28 acres and one for 10.08 acres. And once again, the combined value of the 4 properties shows on page 4 as $623,100. Anybody have any questions about these 4 properties?
Yeah, I've got a question. And that is that maybe I'm missing, or I don't quite understand the difference between lot 1 and lot 2 in terms of how it's valued. There's one set of value, the value of 47,500 for lot 1. It's the same number that appears on the combined sheet.
Yeah,
However, the difference between 90,000 and 34,000, I kind of missed how you got to that.
well, it has to do with two concepts. One, the economy of scale. So the more you have, the less it's worth. And it also has to do with the system that we use, our CAMA system, which is a mass appraisal system. And the more pieces of land that we add, the cost values go down. So when we make it when we make it number 4 on the list, it carries the $34,000 value. If it was number 1 on the list,
Mhm.
and it's owned by you or me,
Mhm.
it would be 90,100.
So if person owned 100,000 acres, it'd be worth nothing?
Oh, that's not true.
I'm trying to understand what's happening here.
I'm sure we find the value.
Following up what Randy was talking about, I wanna see if I really understand it. Let's say that Ms. Raymond decided to sell that one lot. Then it would go back, I was the owner, it would be back to 90,000, because now it's a standalone lot.
Yes.
It's like that the economy of scales,
Correct. Absolutely correct.
thank you.
If you would buy the land, your tax bill would be based on 90,100.
Okay. Any further questions?
Does it make a difference where it's located?
Yes, it does. Yes, we have neighborhoods in our town. We have 3 different neighborhoods. The land schedule is created based on these locations. For example, Quam Shore Road carries a different valuation than Woods Hill. Lakewood Drive carries a different valuation than McQuam Shore Road.
Are those the 3?
Yes.
Okay, there's nothing further at this time. Thank you very much, David.
Thank you.
Raymond,
I brought 3 sheets for you to share, so basically I've taken the property that he's just described to you. And I've broken it down with totals on it, so you can kind of see all the parts. As a whole, while we're talking about it, so it makes it up.
yeah, we can just take a minute.
Sure.
This will be appellant exhibit, excuse me, appellant exhibit 1.
Like crazy. Now both.
I'll just take mine and give them the.
Yeah. I'll count it out, so. This is all.
Do you still need them?
I've got more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you one. Right, around, it's easier than this.
So, you got the right there, we'll copy that, send it out, and we can get in there.
Yes.
Okay.
Can I continue?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I wanted to point out to begin with was, I've always owned contiguous property, so when I began owning land, I had like 2 lots, so I've always kind of been assessed by the town as having contiguous property. What changed was I had the 3-lot subdivision over here, which other than the duplex, all the other land that's on the property is being currently used for agricultural purposes. I grow, cut flowers. And I was living over here with my fiance, he left and I purchased the property. And I'm also over here operating agriculture. So what happened was, when I purchased this property, I was then getting a homestead deduction, which changed the way that the town assesses the value. So I received the new assessment on the property, so I know what this property was worth and what it was being assessed at when I lived there with my fiance, and then I get the new assessment. So I did seek out the rest of the properties on the Highgate Road to start doing my comparables. So when we talk about there's different land values for different neighborhoods, I just want you to know that the comparables that are in here are specifically from my neighborhood. So pretty much what I did is I went up and down the Highgate Road to find comparables as far as how this was being broken down. I do think it's important for the board to realize, when I got the new assessment, I received it just a week before the grievance hearing. And so I had called the office and I asked for the specific breakdowns on the properties and how they factored into that whole number. And the way that we have the card set up now here at the town, it's supposed to be public information, but nobody can actually call the town right now and get a respective value for any one of these without going through somebody within the lister's office, and that generally ends up being Mr. Pratt. So it took me a week to get the information, so I got the breakdown on all of this one day before the grievance hearing. So when I grieved this to the listers, I did include the fact that I was grieving the process, the due process on it, and how I was supposed to be able to obtain information on the taxes that I pay and how my property is assessed. So that really didn't happen. And that was contained within my grievance. So when you look at the properties, I put comparables in here. I think where I would like to start is the double wide is being assessed at 129,000. I found comparables up the road for like properties. And so within 2 years, the other duplex that I found was built in 2002 and had similar square footage, 1904. And so their dwelling value is 75,900. So this should be the one that says parcel that ends in 14, and it says it's from book 252. It looks like this. In your paperwork, it feels mine is 18 something, it's just under the 19, and so it is 2 years newer than these, but you can see that they're being assessed at 75,900 and mine's at 129,000. So I'm almost more than half again what their value is. So with respect to what was said, they did change the overall assessment by $11,000, but if we're just looking at the double wide itself, I'm saying that I'm being charged I'm being assessed almost $40,000 more than the comparables that I offered. So they said that they had changed the quality of it. Well, changing the quality of it only changed the assessment by $11,000. So I'm still almost half again more than the comparables that I put in there. These two double wides, so we're looking at Bedard and Ovid. I did want to point out their land values as well, because both of these comparables are, one of them is 11.5 acres. And I believe the other one is 10 something. 10.14. Where are you in? You should be in the still. I think it all depends on how we. So this one right here. That's an 11-acre lot. So the land value is 78.6. And then we've got another land value here for 11.5. And their land value is 79.2. So on this paper, I have two different lots. One's a 10-acre lot and one's an 11-acre lot. As you can see, on one, I'm being assessed at 90,000. And on the other one, I'm being assessed at 93,000. So just between those two land values alone, that's an additional $20,000 to $30,000. So what I did is I broke this down to listers two different ways, because there's two different ways that you can assess a property. You can either take the sum of the four parts and you can say the best and highest value of these properties are looking at them as if they are their own standalone lots based at this value and then add them all together. Or you can decide that as one big piece of pie, you're going to value it that way. And so I broke this down two different ways. The first way was specifically by the land values and the dwelling value of the double wide. The other way was I included comparables, and so I did include your property, Brock, because you have about 50 acres. And so when I owned my 3-lot subdivision before I even bought this adjoining parcel of land, I only had 12 acres broken up between 3 lots, the duplex and then 2 open lots. I only had 12 acres. I was being assessed at 132,000 as my total land value. And so when I compare that to your 50 acres, you're being assessed at 137,000. So we're only off about $5,000, except you have 40 acres more than me. So they had also explained that as you add acreage, the value goes down. In this case, that didn't happen, because if you looked at the standalone values of my 3-acre or my 3-lot subdivision, and then the other property that I added it to, the value of those two separately, when my previous fiance owned it, and I owned the property next door, was a lot less than when they combined it as one big contiguous lot for the purposes of homestead deduction. The value went up almost $60,000 that I would be paying more on in taxes. So I did bring it before them to grieve it based on like properties on the Highgate Road. I'd also like to point out that where the state just put in past the Bushy Road, the state's had 50 acres, and that's also in here as a comparable to where they just put in the new garage down there. That 50 acres was also only assessed at 137,000, where I'm now being assessed at, what did I say, 229,000. So I looked at a couple of other people on my road. I went next door and I looked at Betty Pudva. And Betty has about 23 acres. Hers is also broken up between she's got 3 different lots in there. And she's being assessed at 150. So I'm still being assessed $70-something thousand higher than Betty. And then so I went down to Joanne Bushy's and I looked at hers, and same thing. Joanne's got approximately 10 acres. She's got 3 different lots, and she's being assessed way under what I'm being assessed at. So a lot of this land was owned by my grandfather, Earl of Flam, and I am trying to keep a bit of this in agriculture for agricultural purposes. And I think it's important for you to realize too, they had discussed that there's a difference in assessed value depending on how I'm being taxed. And we're going to use 14 Rolita Lane, the 10-acre lot, as the example. On one hand, on the card, it says that that property is being assessed at $90,000. but that I'm only being taxed on $30-something thousand. So anytime I go to do something with a bank and they call up here, it seems subjective to me. My lenders are being told that even though the card says that it's assessed at $90,000, that it's really only worth $30,000. So if they've got to take a lien on a property, which one are you gonna take? You're gonna take the one that is worth more, but it says it's not valued as much based on the way that your system works, and you start with the first one and you work your way down, and then that one gets valued less and less. So I guess I'm confused by the fact that I'm being told the more land that you own, the less its value is, because I just added the adjoining property to it and it went up $60,000. One way, if I'm looking at just strictly land values, I'm saying that in comparison to my neighbors, if we're talking strictly land values, is one big contiguous property that I'm being assessed at almost $90,000 more than my neighbors. And if you're taking it as components of a whole and assessing it that way, I'm still about $60,000 in assessments higher.
I asked a quick question.
Yes.
If someone comes in and does title search and pulls the lister card, what's it say for the value on the lister card? The lister card? If someone came
For what property?
for the 90,
You have a lister's card.
the 90,000, it's in here?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what's the value on the lister card?
$623,000 for the house.
So if they were, if the inactive card for
Right.
that lot, that's some
Yes.
question, 90,000 to 34,000.
Yes,
In that, what does the inactive card show for value?
the 90,000 number.
So if someone was to come in and research for,
Oh, well, guess what? What happened was when the bank called and needed to get that value, nobody up front could do it, and it took a week, and then Brad got on the phone with the mortgage company. They put a value of $30,000 on it, even though the lister's card says 90. That's what I'm saying, you can't have it either way. You're either assessing it at the town for $90,000, and that's what it's worth. And what I'm being told is because I'm only being charged tax up to the 30,000, that it's only worth 30,000, so. It's, if you own contiguous property, the way that they have described it to me is the value of your property will change depending on whether or not it's contiguous property. And so on one hand, it's worth 30, and on the other hand, it's worth 90, but it never seems to work in my favor. So.
I thought it's a comment. I would think a lender would wanna come and check the record. The
Yeah.
record you're saying shows it's 90,000.
Well, no, FSA got documentation from this office saying that it was only worth $90,000, so I had to take an additional lien through the Farm Service Agency to mortgage the farm that I now own. So it actually had profound consequences for me.
So you said they were just told them it was 90,000?
No,
That's
the
right.
card says it's worth 90,000, but the lender was told that it was only worth 30.
I would think the lender would. They would come in and look at the card. And see it.
Because when you took the cards, so when you took the cards for the 3-lot subdivision before I purchased this property. If you took the 3 cards and you tried to add them up and make sense of it. The math didn't work, which is why I said that it felt like a subjective math equation, and it depended on who did it, what the answer was, and this information is supposed to be public information that anybody can come in and get at any time, but in reality, at least for me, it's never worked that way. I've run into this on more occasion, on at least a couple of occasions.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, are you all set?
If I would like to answer any questions if anybody has any.
What we'll. That's why it's asked if there are any other questions, and now we're gonna go to the listers for their remarks as a reply back. These are.
Very well.
Susan.
what's being handed out will be the listers. Exhibit number 1. No, this is exhibit, no, B, let's do exhibit B.
Good. Anything like that?
Come back around. Everybody got everything?
And so we're gonna talk a little bit more right now about the land. You have a new packet in front of you. And the first page is a property known as Austin Drive, which is a development off of the Highgate Road. And if you notice, in the center at the top, it shows an individual land value of 151,200. And to the left, a little bit lower, it shows the total acreage of 22.75 acres. That 22 acres includes a lot with a mobile home on it and 2 separate lots. If we turn the page, we look at a map. And you can see in the center, there's a number 3. And above that, slightly to the right, there's a 1, and then above that, there is a 2. Each of those parcels have green on them. The green signifies wetlands. And as such, the land is not worth as much as a parcel that is not wet. So we turn the page and we take a look at the Bushy property at Highgate Road 2474. And following the same pattern, in the center at the top, you'll see the individual land value was 140,800. And a little bit lower to the left, you see a total acreage of 10.34 acres. The 10 acres includes a house with a lot and 3 building lots. And as we turn the page, we can see KY2, which is Katy Lane, KY3 and KY1 are all affected with wetlands. Therefore, is making an effect on the value. Yes, the green is wetlands. What you need to try to see is the shape of the parcel. You see this? So this part of this parcel is in the green. On this one here, this part of this parcel has green. And up on this piece, this piece is green. So the green is affecting those 3 lots. So we can turn the page. And there's a small development off of the Highgate Road, now known as Wilderness Way, north. And follow the same pattern in the center. At the top, that land was 78,100. Consisting of 10.14 acres. When you turn the page, you can see a map where 132 wilderness. That's a good share of it in green. Therefore affecting its value. You continue on in the same manner. The next property is also at Wilderness Way North. Has a value of 78,800 and is 11 acres. In turning the page, you can see the mark number 82. There's quite a bit of green, which therefore alters the value. If you'd like to move to the next page, this lot also is on Wilderness Way. The other property, combined land value is 79,200 with 11.55 acres. And turning that page, you can see lot 22 was primarily green. So we turn the page again. We move to 2598 Highgate Road. That's 50 acres of land. That value is 135,000. And we turn the page once again, and we can see that 2598 Highgate Road is encumbered with wetlands. If we turn the page once again, we come to the Rock property at 2396 Highgate Road. In the center of that page at the top, we have a land value of 137,600, which is 57 acres of land. When we turn the page and look at the map, number 2396, we can see there's more than one area in that acreage which is heavy with wetlands. And furthermore, a portion of the property abuts up against Interstate 89. Therefore affecting the value of that parcel of land. When we turn the page again, you come to 2448 Highgate Road. This is actually a farm. It's farmland. 128 acres, currently valued at 194,400. On the next page, there is no green on that parcel. And it is farmland, and it is rated according to the normal land schedule. Next we come to Highgate Road, 2530, owned by the Marcotte Boom Estate. A value of 138,100, a total of 47.44 acres. This parcel also includes 2530 Highgate Road. And when you look at the map, you can see that there is some wetlands on parcel 2540. So we turn the page again, and we arrive at 2506 Highgate Road, which is the subject property. We have a total land value of 226,200, Total acreage 23.79 acres. And when we turn the page, we can look at the number 2506. And just above that, you can see Earlnita Drive. And above that, you can see the numbers 2, 8, and 14, which are the 3 lots. And none of these 4 parcels of land are encumbered with wetlands. If anyone have any questions about the land? That I guess one of.
I have a question.
Yes,
When you calculate lowering the value of land based on wetlands, do you use a formula or is it a subjective judgmental way that you arrive at the reduced number?
it is somewhat subjective. We take a look at how much of the acreage is wetlands.
Mhm.
And sometimes we have to make a judgment call.
You think that if you were to go and look at the amount of area that is wetlands, all of the things, not that's something that you would do, but just thinking about it, would you say that it's done consistently in terms of the amount of reduction that you make based on the amount of wetland and where it is?
Could you repeat that, please?
If you were to go and take a look at every piece of property in Swan
Okay.
that had some wetlands on it,
Mhm.
that in the assessment process, if you were to do it mathematically,
Mhm.
do you think you're reasonably consistent in the way that you do it?
I believe so, yes. Yes. Yes, our land schedule was created for the last reappraisal, which was done in 2007. That 2007 reappraisal includes sales data from the years of 2004, 2005, and 2006. So that information from those 3 years is used to create the land schedule of 2007. Everything was set up, so to speak, at that time. From there, changes have been made with subdividing the land. And that's where we can see we have the use of maps to look at.
And is this something that is consistent more or less statewide in the way land is appraised?
Yes, it is.
And so when we talk about, this plan now to do reappraisals of everything
Yeah.
for the next X number of years,
Right.
I think that is something that particularly if you're hiring appraisers from elsewhere,
Yes,
which is possible.
right.
That again, that's the way appraisals are done, that's a consistent way of doing it everywhere.
Absolutely. Yes.
I have a very basic question. Who establishes what a wetland is?
State.
You do it by what?
I believe that is
Central
created
research.
by the state of Vermont.
The state of Vermont.
Sure, yeah.
Who decides what the
That's right.
wetland is?
Natural resources.
Yeah.
DEC.
Yeah, DEC of the
This may not be relevant. But put it out there. If you have no wetlands on your property, then 10 years from now, you probably won't have any wetlands on your property. But if you have wetlands on your property, they will. I don't know what the Swan experience has been, what my experience has been. If you have a wetland and it's 5 acres on it, 10 acre lot, give them time. And if you come back and do a reappraisal, chances are that wetland increases. So the value of the property becomes less as far as use, but not necessarily the rate of taxes.
But it grows, it doesn't.
Wetlands
Dry
can
out.
grow, yeah.
May I ask a question? I just want to know, where did you get this map from?
programmatic system.
Was it from the ANR website?
No,
Well. When I get an opportunity, we'll probably have a conversation about that.
are there any other questions concerning the link?
All right, any further questions?
Am I allowed to respond to?
And I
have
have not completed my rebuttal.
Oh, okay, I thought you were, I'm sorry, thought you were.
We have some more things to pass around. Well, it is.
This is gonna be listed. C. C.
And this way, this time.
May I have a copy?
Yeah, I'm gonna get you one right now.
Thank you.
You're Thank you. Everybody got one here? No.
Okay, now we want to take a look at the manufactured home. That sits at 2506. And the valuation of that home all by itself. So right on the first page in front of you, we're looking at a manufactured home from the year 2004. It is of average quality. Has 1,890 square feet. And if you look at the adjusted base cost of $33.56 per square foot. In addition to that, there are 3 porches added. And you come down a little bit further and you see involved rent replacement costs less depreciation. There we have a final value of $104,300 for this manufactured home. So what I want to do now is to compare that with 3 other manufactured homes in the town of Swanton. If we go to page 2. This manufactured home is a few years older. It's a model year 2000. This quality happens to be good. It has 2,052 square feet. And its adjusted base cost per square foot is $36.92. There are 2 porches attached to that structure. And we find a replacement cost less depreciation coming in at $110,700. And then we can turn the page to comparable number 2. This unit was manufactured in 1999. Carries an average quality. Has 1,792 square feet. With a square foot per cost of $33.33. It has 2 porches attached to the home. And a replacement cost, new less depreciation at $98,500. And then we can turn the page to comparable number 3. This home was built in the year 2004, which is the same as the one in question. It also carries a quality of average. It has 1,591 square feet. Cost per square foot of $31.87. there are 3 porches attached to the structure. And we have replacement costs less depreciation coming in at 99,500. If you were to take the average of the 3 comps, you take the number from replacement costs minus depreciation, you take those 3 numbers and average them, you will come in, I believe, at approximately 103,000. And that compares to the 104,000 of the subject property on page 1.
Any questions from them?
David, for the
Yes.
valuation on the subject property. Is this where changing the quality from average to good down to average? Is that the $11,000 difference that you were talking about earlier?
Yes, yes, we have brought it down to 104,300.
Any other questions?
So I have a property valuation on the double wide of 129,000 for grievance, and they reduced it 11,000, so I'm not sure how the math is going here, but the whole reason I came before the listers was because they had the double wide valued at almost 130,000. So now, according to this sheet that he's just handed me, after a reduction of $11,000, I'm being told that I'm being assessed at 104,300, which is not the same number that I had at all. We're still off a few thousand.
I have no idea what the question is.
Okay,
I didn't,
You're
I don't see 130,000 any.
on the, you say when you came to the grievance, your assessment was 130,000.
So the dwelling value of 2506, when I came to the grievance process to begin with, just the dwelling value of the double wide was being assessed at $129,000. And so this paperwork that I'm being shown here today says that it's being assessed at 103. So the math's not adding up.
I don't know where the 129,000 comes from. I'm not seeing that here.
So in the packet that I had given you on my lister card for 2506, at the top of that sheet, I had done the entire breakdown of all the components of the total 623,000. So you have all the values of the land broken down up on the top. You've got the dwelling value of 8 Ernia Lane. So when I had talked with David on the phone before I had even come before the board for the grievance, I was given a value of $129,000 as the assessed value at the double wide. And it is on my paperwork, my grievance paperwork. This is what I had in, not sure if you have this in your pack, but yeah.
Okay.
So you can see that that was part of my original grievance as I was being. The other thing I want to say real quick in response to what David just said. He had explained to you that this map right here and the maps that they use did not come from the Department of Natural Resources and our website, which is the place where the official wetlands come from. I happen to know for a fact that my property is in a wetland because last year I applied for a variance from the Department of Agriculture to build a cider barn, and I wasn't allowed to because of the fact that the property sat squarely in a wetland. So,
Do you have a map? Did you get rid of?
I got a response from the Department of Agriculture saying that they couldn't approve my variance because my property sat within the wetlands.
That's not what I asked you. Do you have a map that shows the wetlands on your property?
We could just pull up the A and R website and plug it in and it would show where the wetlands are, and if you guys are doing assessments in the town based on wetlands. Shouldn't you be using the source that determines where the wetlands are?
That's not gonna have to use.
I understand that.
Okay, stop right there. The maps that are used by the tax. By the listers and by the town committee, are exactly what the listers have introduced as evidence. We could subscribe to a mapping company. And then they're supposed to update that, and we're so based on that information. You know, I don't, wetlands may change. Wetland determinations change. Frequently, and I don't think sometimes the maps are quite fast enough.
Well, I understand, but if this board goes and they look at the A and R website for determination of where there are wetlands, you will see that there is just as much wetlands. On my property as there is on these other properties that were used as example. I don't understand why your maps look different, but I can assure you that. I was told by the Department of Agriculture that I was squarely within a wetland.
Well, that would be something that I would instruct the inspection committee when they get together to look at that. And print it off. Down.
I also wanted to point out that the A and R website that's. The state of Vermont, it's a free system, you don't have to pay for the mapping, and so again, they're the authority for what is a wetland, so I don't understand why. We would be paying for
But it's all part of the package and.
understood, but it's not accurate.
It, well, some stuff out of the state leaves a lot to be desired for accuracy, so we won't discuss the pattern at this point. David, were you finished with your presentation?
Yes, I am.
Okay, any other questions from you? On this? Okay, so, any further questions? Okay, I just have one. You said that your intent is you're using your land in question and we understand that's fine. But bottom line, it is approved for a subdivision, is that correct?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so you could legally sell off one of those lots
Absolutely,
as a sub.
right, and I have. Given you comparable properties of comparable size and showed you what their assessed values are as well,
Sure.
so I didn't argue that.
But in the case of one of the comps, the Brock property that is not been subdivided.
Right.
There's no subdivision on that property.
Right, but
No,
like I said, you can do it one of two ways. You can value each one of those 4 lots separately because you believe the best and highest use is the individual properties, and then use those values to come to a total value, or you at the town can decide that you want to assess it as its best and highest use as one contiguous lot as it's recorded, but I guess my point is I've given you comparables both ways.
Right. Okay. All right, so. Who wants to, so I need at least 3 of you to serve on the inspection committee on this and report back to the board. Okay, well, let's set it. What, why don't we do it this way? Let's set the date for the next meeting, And we could do next Wednesday, 1 week today. I think, I don't know, Kathy's, but let's say at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Does that work for everybody next Wednesday, 3 o'clock? Second.
Next Wednesday, the 20th.
20 minutes, 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
For the meeting or for to meet the property.
No, the committee is will set the appointment to meet the property. This is for the meeting to take in the reports.
Also, you don't need me for that Wednesday day.
No, you're welcome to come, but
All right.
there's no discussion or, we just discuss that report and make a determination.
Oh, then yeah, probably.
We can't take any more evidence.
Understood.
And actually, when the inspection committee goes out to see you, they cannot give, and they cannot receive any further evidence.
And so will you be looking at the A&R website? So when you say you can't take any further evidence, you can't determine when you're there whether or not.
They looked at what they want. Okay, so they can, look at the A&R, so they can.
We're going to review.
Right, the report of the, we were gonna review the report of the inspection. So, next Wednesday, 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock. Now. Who would like to be on that inspection committee? Don? It's been you, Don, Randy.
Yep.
Me.
You're right.
What one?
I'm in the middle of dealing with an issue with my dog running. So I don't want to commit to a time right now. I don't know.
They can't do it as a select board member.
Right, yeah, that's right.
No, no,
Okay,
otherwise I would.
Matt or Steve?
I mean, it's a possibility.
Takes a while.
That's how I get elected now, is being I.
And what with the wetlands about drowning.
When are we gonna do this?
Let's.
Up to you.
It's up to you and yeah,
Between now, are you saying between now and the 20th that has to be done?
right, done, the inspection done and report written. And you got amongst the three of you, who's gonna write the report.
Ryan does a very nice job of writing the reports.
But it's Terry preferred not to usually go out on the inspections.
Well, Steve.
So Brian, you aren't going on the inspections? You
No.
aren't going on the.
No, I would
No.
go on the inspection normally, but. And as far as writing reports, you know who my English teacher was in Siskoy? One of my English teachers, Mr. Pike.
So you know,
So you get these jobs.
Also, we have several of them.
Yeah, that's fun. I can move over there Tuesday, right?
So what time?
Oh,
Then we have to-
volunteer?
Monday,
Apparently.
Friday, Monday or Tuesday? Amy, what works? Are you gonna be around Friday, Monday or Tuesday? Then go do an
Monday.
inspection.
Monday. Yes, Monday out of those days. Tuesdays and Fridays.
What time on Monday? You wanna go?
Afternoon, early afternoon.
It's fine. Tell me what time to make it.
This is Monday, the 18th, we're talking about.
Yes.
What time?
You pick it anytime after 12.
I recall what last before I wrote, I had to lay out my long hair and it had piped out down here.
Just out of curiosity.
Shooter died. That was fun.
Oh, we can do that.
Oh,
Yeah, if you need help with the typing, come down there and help you.
Yeah.
So did you pick a time, 1 o'clock? That work for everybody? Don, Randy,
Like one
Matt,
o'clock, okay.
1 P.M. on Monday. The 18th.
You 1 o'clock, 1
One o'clock first, just out of curiosity, do you need to go inside or is it all outside?
No, about the complete property has to be looked at inside.
Okay, I was just asking because I got it.
Yeah.
So,
neither of us should. I said it's report just because rather than having you come back here, everybody was here. and all that. There.
where you bring your boots, the wetlands.
Should get this to work.
Okay, so.
Monday, 1 p.m. is the inspection. We should have the inspection report in by no later than probably Tuesday. And then BCA will meet here on Wednesday, 3 p.m. the 20th, to make a decision that a decision letter will go after the vote.
And we'll also decide on the abatement.
Yeah. So that'd be kind of a closed session.
It's open, but, you know, so. There's no evidence to. There's no request.
So that's the 20th.
20th to 3 p.m. That work for you?
Can you plan on meeting it then, just as you double? Yeah, we'll plan to meet at the double by that way, we can start there, you can go every.
Yeah, sure. Then we'll go over and all that.
Yeah.
I have.
do adjourn the meeting here.
Okay, so we, just to wrap up here, so the inspection committee is met, you're making the recommendations on the dollars at their property. We're meeting back here, 1 week today at 3 p.m. Shouldn't take that long, and, we'll go from there, so I need a motion to adjourn. Then
Seconded.
Second, okay, it's been seconded to adjourn, and we'll meet back next week. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. I guess you have it, I do have it. Or adjourn, thank you.
Yeah.